Hello, I'm Deacon Steve Gretzinger. I'm here with Father Corey Litzner. We're both from the Diocese of Marquette, Michigan. And we're talking a little bit more about the love of the Sacred Heart of Jesus. You know, so oftentimes, Father Corey, I know I talk with my wife Jackie and stuff like this, and it's a hard thing to explain, because we either have a statue or we have a picture of the Sacred Heart. And, sometimes Catholics get a bad rap, because we're told not to, oh, Catholics just worship statues or they worship pictures.
Right.
But when I read about St. Margaret Mary and stuff like this, our Lord asked specifically that he wanted this image honored.
Exactly.
He wanted this. So it's almost like it's a little bit different than every other statue. It's a little bit different than every other devotion. What do you take from that?
Yeah, Deacon Steve, you're totally right there. Our devotion to the Sacred Heart is totally different from our devotion to anything or anyone else. And even though those other devotions are just so powerful, like devotion to the saints, even to our Blessed Mother, because all those other devotions lead us right here, if they're worthy and true and good devotions, lead us right here to our Lord Jesus. It's kind of interesting that St. Pope John Paul II connected this image with the Divine Mercy, because they're both devotions to the very love of God. And I'm always amazed, because there's sometimes it's hard to love.
It is.
I mean, it's certain
people to love. Yeah, that's hard to love.
And I'm not just looking at you.
Yeah, and I'm looking at you.
Because we're in a conversation here, but there are sometimes difficult people to love, and try as we might, we just can't love them by our own power alone. Yeah. And that is what our Lord invites us to in this devotion, is saying, Father Corey, Deacon Steve, you don't have to love alone. You can love with my Sacred Heart.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think it's so important, because I've heard that before in my life. I've heard, try to love them as I would love them. Spoken to me by God, and stuff like this. Say, I know you have a personality conflict with that person, but try to love that person as I love them, knowing that I love everyone, and stuff. Same thing with forgiveness. I know there's certain people that have done stuff to me in the past if I'm trying to forgive with my own heart, my own mind, I can't get over that. But by tying closer to this heart, to truly honoring this heart, it doesn't stand for jealousy, it doesn't stand for envy, it doesn't stand for anything else, it stands for love. So if we try to love as Jesus would love with them, it helps us to get over a lot of hurdles, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. I find that in my own life, it's not just loving people or forgiving them, it's also putting my heart totally into my vocation. Yeah. Because I'm a pretty energetic kind of guy. But I'm not always that way.
Yeah, I don't know how you're not on a Wheaties box or any other cereal box for that matter.
But there's sometimes in the morning where I just look at the picture of the Sacred Heart that's on my bedroom wall and say, Lord, give me your heart today. Because I think of all my to-do list. And I say, Lord, give me your heart as I'm going to meet with this group or that group. Because there's some times where I would naturally want to meet with some people or do some duty, like open the mail or something. And then there's other things that I just naturally don't have a heart for. And so I say, Lord, I don't have a heart for this. Give me your heart.
That's beautiful. Yeah. And I would just like to close with, I know my wife Jackie, as she's coming up for communion, she says the words, Lord, help me to love you more. And stuff. So not even loving people with our Lord's heart, but asking that. The Lord's going to give us, what's good for us. And it's definitely true that he wants us to love him more. So he's not going to hide us from us. All we have to ask, Lord, help us to love you more. And with that, we'll close today. Thank you.